Well, good evening. I'm Dwan, and this is Katie, and we are here for Experience Mid-Valley Fellowship, kind of our weekly look into support programs, so you can kind of get a taste of what happens on a Tuesday night. And so I thought actually Katie's one of our interns this year, and I thought maybe she could share just a little bit about. So what do you end up doing on Tuesday nights, particularly like before everybody gets here? Like what does that entail?
Yeah, so we get here 2 hours early and just set up the whole building. This is a building we get to use on a Tuesday, and they're gracious enough to let us use it. So we set it up. There's a lot of different rooms to set up to make people feel welcome in the different rooms, and just the different things we need to set up: food, snacks, coffee, just to create an environment where people can share and people can be honest and authentic, and feel like their needs are met and safe. So we do a lot of setup, a lot of moving chairs, a lot of moving pieces, and then obviously setting up for our leader dinner, as well as then the participants coming in at 7. So
yeah,
it takes about 2 hours.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool because it like creates a space and a foundation for like people can kind of feel comfortable coming in, and these are really difficult topics to navigate through, and so being able to have a space that's warm and that have something to munch on or drink or whatever.
And it's the same every time.
And it's the same every time.
Like consistency. So.
Yeah. So that's good. And so then we kind of get into like worship and our lesson time. So like tonight, I'm going to be facilitating a lesson called Learning to Face the Pain, which is a really, light and fuzzy topic, right? But actually there's one of the questions in there is like identify the 10 most painful experiences in your life.
Oh, I had to do that.
Yeah, and then digging into like, okay, what are the things that taught me, like about myself or about other people or about God? What are the lies that I picked up from those experiences? And then what's the truth about that? Like, because we often experience traumatic things, painful things, and we sort of pick up lies from that and we live out of them throughout our lives. And so this is just an opportunity to really look at those things and kind of go, okay, what's here? And certainly as it relates to addiction, we can tend to want to avoid pain and not face those things, but really the only way to address the pain, to go through the pain, is to go through the pain and to get on the other side of it. And so that's one of the lessons for tonight. Another one in our program for survivors of sexual abuse is called Powerlessness and Deadness. Just that often after abuse, one of the effects is that, certainly in the abuse experience, there's a lot of powerlessness, like you can't do anything. And then certainly the way that we can respond to it, or the way we can navigate it, is by kind of just ignoring emotions and just kind of deadening that place in us. And so really this lesson's about, okay, we need to re-engage with those emotions. God designed us with emotions, intends for us to feel things, right? And so we need to engage with those so that we can kind of walk in who God designed us to be. So after those lessons, and there's a few others that will be going on at the same time, but then we head off to small groups, and you help co-lead a small group, right? So what happens in that time?
So this is my first year leading, which is really fun and new, and really just seeing how God kind of meets these women where they're at. And so we have myself and a co-leader have a group of 6 women, and we just open up the floor for them to share. We give them each their space to go through what happened in the week, the good, the bad, the hard, the things that they don't understand, and really giving them context and words to describe what they're experiencing, and asking questions and diving in and doing what the hard work of asking the hard questions, and knowing that these are hard topics, and knowing that we're all broken. We all have things that we're wrestling with. And so what does that look like on a weekly basis? Because it doesn't just happen moment by moment. Like, yes, we're talking about 10 moments, but in reality, there's multiple moments every week.
Sure.
So what does that look like to unpack how you live your week, and where you see yourself struggling and where you see yourself thriving, and what you can do to continue out of the path of destruction and into the path of health, and really where God's calling you to be and meet you there. So I just get to be a part of that group and ask a lot of questions.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And it's cool too. I mean, like the leaders have this role of really being present with them with the participants in the midst of all the good things and the bad things and the challenges and all of that. And even when someone comes in, like covered in shame, they'd be able to say, like, you're still loved, we still value you, God still loves you. Or whether it's like I'm going through something really difficult and painful, to come alongside and say, we're with you. And so that presence is really important. And really it's a picture of the gospel, right? Of that Jesus comes into our mess and walks alongside us and points us back to God. So that's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's just a little taste of what we have happening tonight. And as always, this is a huge spiritual battle, and so we value your prayers. for us and for the participants and kind of everything that's going to happen tonight. And we encourage you to share this or like it and kind of pass it on to others as well and let people know. But for the moment, we're going to head off to leadership dinner. And thanks for your partnership. Thanks for praying for us.